Iggy and the Stooges' 1973 proto-punk masterpiece, Raw Power, is one of the most famous disasters in the rock canon. In classic Stooges style, its creation became a battle between punk visionaries and an audience that wasn't ready to appreciate their savage sound. After releasing 1969's self-titled debut and 1970's Funhouse, the Stooges split in the summer of 1971, thanks to rampant substance abuse combined with frustration over their lack of commercial success. Bassist Dave Alexander was exiled following Funhouse's release, and frontman Iggy Pop, guitarist Ron Ashton, and drummer Scott Ashton clashed as Iggy and Scott's heroin habits spiraled out of control. The addition of the Ashtons' childhood friend, James Williamson, on second guitar couldn't stop the group from coming apart. The Stooges might have stayed broken up if David Bowie hadn't become involved. Following the Stooges' flameout, Iggy went to New York City to salvage his career. There, he had an auspicious run-in with Bowie at the legendary punk club Max's Kansas City. A zealous Stooges fan, Bowie negotiated a deal between Iggy and his own manager, Tony DeFries, founder of the powerful agency Main Man. A record deal with Columbia followed soon after, with the unlikely goal of converting Iggy Pop into a mainstream star. In early 1972, the Stooges relocated to London. Now heroin-free, they began an intensive regimen of songwriting and rehearsals that resulted in some of their most indelible anthems. Raw Power's Search and Destroy was inspired by a Time magazine article that Iggy had read about the U.S. Army's strategy in Vietnam. Despite its nihilistic lyrics, it would become one of the Stooges' most popular songs, eventually ending up in an ad for luxury cars. Initially titled Tight Pants, the unruly rave-up Shake Appeal finds the Stooges tapping into their love of 50s rock and roll. Iggy claimed that his flamboyant vocal performance was an attempt to emulate one of his biggest musical heroes, Little Richard. The band's contracts came with specific demands from their label and management, like a ballad on each side of the LP. For side A, they responded with a subtly menacing Gimme Danger, featuring a chiming Williamson guitar melody. Gimme danger, little stranger. On side B, it was the swaggering Roadhouse blues of I Need Somebody, which highlights another one of the Stooges' biggest influences, The Doors, who inspired Iggy to start a band in the first place, and later unsuccessfully tried to recruit him after Jim Morrison's death. Elsewhere, the Stooges embraced their more envelope-pushing instincts. Penetration features sexually graphic lyrics, juxtaposed with the bell-like tones of a celesta, an instrument that Iggy learned to play in his high school's band. Eventually, Main Man became preoccupied with Bowie, leaving the Stooges to their own devices. Among other things, the lack of oversight resulted in a notoriously unbalanced mix by Iggy, who was handling production for the first time. Main Man called in Bowie to repair it, but his rushed remix would be blamed, by both fans and Stooges alike, for compromising the album's impact. Even with Bowie's support, the album was a massive flop. Released in February of 1973, Raw Power peaked at 182 on the Billboard 200. The band was dropped by Columbia and Main Man and returned to the throes of drug abuse and self-destruction, finally dissolving again just over a year after the album's release. Raw Power seemed to be an abject failure, but only a few years later, a group of rock revolutionaries would use it as a building block for the first wave of punk. In the process, they saved a legendary album from undeserved obscurity.